Hi, this is Vanda Krause again. I just want to go over some of the required brokerage documents that you're going to have to sign in order to go house shopping. First one is a residential buyer tenant representative agreement. This is basically the document used to hire your realtor. So, of course, your name would go here, your address, your information. The name of our broker is eXp Realty and my information. This is just saying that we're going to shop in the area of Houston and surrounding areas, Richmond, Tomball, wherever. This has an agreement term on it. So this is the day that we normally would go out first time, or the day that you hire me. And this can go for 2 months, 2 weeks. It could just be for one home. It could go for 6 months. It could go for a year. So don't worry if it expires because we can always renew it. But we have to have a term on here. It has to have a starting date and an ending date. And my obligation to you is that I'm going to do my best to assist you in acquiring a property in the market area that you want. Your obligation to me is that you're going to work exclusively through my broker with me to help you acquire a property. So you don't work with any other agents. If you do work with another agent, I'm not saying you can't, but we prefer you not to because that's your obligation. That's your obligation to me. So I will represent you in any real estate transaction. Your name, again, would go at the top line. This is intermediary status. This is saying that I can show you any property that is on the MLS with my brokerage. I work with another agency, of course, to help you. Competing clients. Client acknowledges that broker may represent other prospective buyers or tenants who may seek to acquire properties that may be of interest to the client. So I will be helping more than just you, and you guys might have similar properties that you're looking at. Confidential information. Any information that you disclose to me, I will keep confidential and won't disclose it. Anything that I do disclose, I will have to get your permission to disclose certain information. Each one of these pages, you'll be required to initial, as well as myself. Commission. The party agrees a broker will receive a commission calculated as follows. 3% commission is the standard here in Houston. There are some places where brokers or agents get 4 or 5 and more. So, but you don't have to worry about that because the seller is the one who pays the commission. It comes out of the seller's proceeds. And if we are doing a lease property, typically we get 50% of 1 month's rent. Or sometimes it could be a standard fee, and that would be indicated here. And right here it says the source of commission. Broker will seek to obtain payment of the commission from the seller, landlord, or their agents. If such persons refuse or fail to pay broker the amount specified, client will pay broker the amount specified less any amounts broker receives from such person. I will not charge you if the seller does not agree to pay me. So don't have to worry about that. A person is not obligated to pay broker commission until such time as the broker's commission is earned and payable, which is when we find you a property. There's no additional compensation. You do not pay me. You don't have to give me anything for mileage or anything like that. Let's see. Same thing with new construction. New construction is 3% or whatever commission is being offered by the builder, if applicable. Sometimes builders pay more than 3%, so I don't want to leave anything on the table. And again here, agent will charge no other fees that are not disclosed in writing in this document. And there is also a protection period here, meaning that the time started the day after the agreement ends and continues for 90 days. So let's say we don't find a property in the 6 months that we're looking, but you go and purchase that property that I took you to see 30 days later, then I'm still protected for 90 days. So that's what that means. It's in Harris County. It's payable to the broker, is paid in cash in Harris County, even though the property could be in Brazoria or Montgomery. And then this is talking about if there's any discrepancies, we'll go to mediation, attorney's fees, things like that. And then addendum, information about brokerage services, general information and buyers can't speak, general information and notice to buyers and sellers, which I'll go over in a minute. And for your protection, get a home inspection and the EXP wiring fraud document. Wire fraud is rampant in real estate, so we do not want you to wire any money unless that information is text to you, sent to you in the form of a text from myself. So you agree that you would not wire any funds to the title company without first calling the title company to confirm wiring instructions. Buyer agent agrees to provide this phone number to the buyer via text and not over email. You know, there are people out there who are scanning emails for transactions, and then people are making it look like it's the title company that's asking for this information. People are giving them that information and wiring $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to the title company, and that money is gone. So we don't want that to happen to you. So I make sure I protect you in that. And this is some fair housing laws about discrimination, treat everybody fairly. Broker is not a property inspector, surveyor, engineer, environmental assessor, or compliance inspector. So we recommend that you seek the experts in these matters. We can give you maybe some opinions or personal opinions, but we're not inspectors, so can't rely on our information for that. If the client purchases the property, you should have an abstract covering the property examined by an attorney or client selection. Client should be furnished with or obtain a title policy. So that would come from the title company. You can also purchase a residential service contract, which covers electrical, plumbing, dishwasher, things like that, if anything was to break down in the first year. And normally I always ask for the seller to pay the first year for that, and it's usually about $400, $500. After that, you can choose to renew the policy, but that would be on you. When you're going to view a property, you might be recorded because you know people have cameras all over now. So just want you to be aware of that. We try not to say anything while you're in the house, like, oh, I hate this house, or this is hideous, or, you know, keep those comments until we get outside, because you never know who's recording and you don't want anybody to be offended or, you know, anything like that. Here we talk about wire fraud again, because it's so important. And then I'll have you to sign it here, and then I will sign it here. So by doing that, you have officially hired me. So let's go back over the other documents that I'm going to send you. Information about brokerage services. This is just telling you who we are and how to reach my broker, eXp Realty. My broker's name is Sheila Dunnigan. Here's her email, phone number. I have a supervisor here. Her name is Sarah Atchison. Here's her email, phone number. And of course, this is my information and our license number. So you're required to initial here that you acknowledge and have this form. General information and notice to buyers and sellers. So this document is 5 pages long, and I encourage you to read it. It just kind of gives you some of the definitions of things that we're going to be talking about during real estate transaction. Some of them could be applicable to you and some of them may not. But of course, appraisals, telling you what an appraisal is. You got some environmental concerns, lead-based paint, mold, noise. We can't be held responsible for the noise in the area. We encourage you to drive by the area several times at various times of day. It could be quiet in the daytime. It could be having parties at night. And you don't know till you move there. And then I don't want you calling me saying, why you have me move in this party city, party town, part of town? I didn't know. Heck, I don't know either. So, and then, you could be by a bar, schools. We have traffic jams here around school times. If you're by school, and people are going to be picking up their kids dropping them off in the morning, picking them up in the afternoon. So those could be things that may concern you. Down here, we have different soil conditions that vary. So just read over this: flood hazards, inspection, repair, mandatory homeowners association, mineral interests. Make sure that you're buying a home. You may be buying the home, but not the mineral rights below it. So of course, I will let you know what that is if it's disclosed to me, but this is something that you may need to be aware of. Permits. You may want to do some construction on your home, and you're encouraged to contract the local government to verify you can do that in that area. Of course, you need to get property insurance. And it talks about residential service contracts, school boundaries, septic tanks, sex offenders, and criminal activity. This is a website to go to find out if there are any in your area. If you have young children, that could be a concern for you. You may not want to live in an area where there's a high concentration of them. Things you probably didn't think about. Square footage, tax districts, stucco, tax prorations, termination option. Termination option is a fee that you pay to the seller to give you the option to terminate it for whatever reason. While you're doing your inspections, you may find out the insurance is too high. The HOA that they indicated may be higher than it is, and you may want to get out of it for that. So this is when you do your due diligence, called do the do during your option period. Tidewaters, if you live down by the coastal area, that might be a concern. Water wells, utilities, and again, we talk about wire fraud because it is important again. So read this document over, know what you're signing, and you would sign this again, and of course I would sign it there. Okay, we have 2 more, or is that that's the other one. Okay, we just have 1 more, and that is wire fraud. Again, don't be a victim of wire fraud. So this is just explaining that again. We do use electronic communication. We use email, text, social media messages, but we'll never use that to ask you to wire funds or your bank information. So by signing this, you just acknowledge that you have read this and you received it. And that's it. By doing that, you have officially hired me as your realtor, and I vow I will work hard for you. If you have any questions, give me a call, text, or an email, 773-678-1085. I'm here for you. Have a good one.